Ladies and gentlemen, that's right, you're watching FOODCASTER. How you doing? I'm Michael. You're watching FOODCASTER, and today we're here with Sam Eats Plants.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
Good.
So, gaining weight, losing weight. Some people want to gain, some people want to lose. New year, new energy. How does food play a role in this gaining weight, losing weight? Should we worry about it? Talk to me.
So, for a long time, I used to tell people, there's like a lot of little factors, but basically the factor is if you want to lose weight, eat less, move more. If you want to gain weight, do weight training activity, eat a whole lot of calories. I'm beginning to realize there's the other factors can pull more strongly for some people sometimes. And, you know, there are things that are not incredibly definitive yet, but there's some very interesting things I've been coming across. So in terms of gaining weight, it typically will be easier for the most part for most people, not everyone.
To gain.
Not everyone.
Okay.
If you're going to eat a bunch of real food, it's really hard to gain weight.
Now, what's real food?
Baked potato with no butter on it, but with avocado, right? Or black beans with spinach, or oatmeal and berries. It's hard to eat a lot of real food and gain weight because it gets utilized really well.
Okay.
So you can eat a lot of food, and like your cells are just getting nourished, they're getting the stuff they need, and you're not gaining excess weight. What you could try to is increase the fat. Some people do that. So they'll eat like a jar of peanut butter every 2 days, or I'm talking about plant-based now. I'm not talking about with like animal products, because that's different. It's easier with animal products, and it's easier with processed food, like white rice. But some people will try to go high fat. So that's a lot of peanut butter, that's a lot of avocados. And for some people, that seems to work a little bit more, but still not for everyone. And then also, what type of weight do you want to gain? Do you want to gain body fat? Do you want to gain muscle? Gaining muscle is the most difficult. So that means you have to do weight-bearing exercise in a certain way, like real heavy weights, at least 5 times a week. At least 5 times a week. You don't have to be long each time. It could be 35 minutes and you're done. But you got to do at least 5 times a week. And
now, what about body fat?
if you want to gain it, if you want to gain body fat, then try not to move so much and eat a whole lot of dietary fat, a whole lot of fatty food, and you'll gain body fat.
Again, like the avocado, peanut butter.
Put oil over everything. Things with processed sugar, that your body just doesn't react well to. And that could also mess up with insulin resistance and things like that. Because that also plays a lot with weight. So here's another thing that plays with weight when talking about insulin. How often and how spiked your insulin is released into your body can play around with how your body retains weight or how your body utilizes the food you eat. So in terms of losing weight, there seems to be an idea for the people who tend to eat fine and tend to move fine, but they're overweight, they can't lose weight, they don't know why. They're not eating junk, and they're not eating a crazy amount. Why can't they lose weight? They're finding some of them are having an insulin issue where when their insulin spikes, it really impedes them losing weight. So what are the things that make insulin spike? Just eating. So let's say you eat 5 times a day, even if it's just a snack. Every time you're putting new food into your body, your insulin spikes.
So would that work in the reverse, where there are people that want to gain weight and they're not able to? So that means what? The insulin is...
In theory, yes.
Going down?
So for the people who are... who want to gain weight and they keep losing weight, depends on where they are right now. Some of those people maybe eat twice a day. Maybe they do need to eat more times a day, even if it's just a muffin, because each time your insulin levels spike up, it actually impedes in weight loss. it makes your body hold on to weight. So maybe they just need to spike their insulin more times a day. And for the opposite, then it's not even about eating less, it's just eating less times a day. So we've talked about intermittent fasting before, where it's like you don't eat for anywhere between 12 to 18 hours a day, which means that you're only eating in a window of like 4 to 8 hours that you eat, and the rest you don't eat. That offers a lot of benefits for a lot of reasons, including weight loss. So there's people who will eat the same amount of calories, but only eat it in that window, and they'll lose weight, where they weren't losing weight before. And some of that is attached to insulin.
Now again, just doing the opposite, then you'll gain?
For some people.
Okay, so you really got to know your body.
Everyone's different.
Okay.
I've eaten all types of ways. My body doesn't change.
Okay.
I mean, I don't do the biggest effort, but I used to be one of those trainers that ate 5-6 times a day. Right now, I've been doing intermittent fasting for like the last 4 years because I feel really good. Everything is about how I feel because my body doesn't really change. Even when I was pregnant, it didn't really change. So like, for me, I could really do the calories in and calories out, move more, move less. That science seems to work for me. But I would be remiss to not listen to some of the other people that science doesn't really work for them. What are other things that are going on? Here's another thing that's going on. So there is a story. There's something called fecal transplant.
Okay.
It is what it sounds like.
Okay.
So you're going to take fecal matter from somebody and transplant it into somebody else. Okay, why would we do that? Certain health reasons, certain bacterial things, trying to change the gut biome in somebody because of maybe too much antibiotics. You take fecal matter from one person to another. And it still has to match. Like, you can't just do it from anybody. There still has to be some type of bodily match. So there's this story, and this has to do with weight loss, where this runner who, she was a marathon runner, so she's pretty lean, always in the right BMI. She got a fecal transplant from a woman who wasn't into that stuff, also happened to be about 30 pounds overweight. A type of weight that this particular person said it was hard for her to lose. It was always like a struggle. After the fecal transplant, the marathon runner started gaining weight. And she ended up getting about 30 pounds overweight to a stubborn weight that was really hard for her to get off, even though she was running, even though she ate fairly well. She had a hard time. So this opens up a whole other discussion that we have no conclusion on right now with bacteria, gut bacteria, and the role it plays in your weight. What are the signals that it's sending after eating? Because when we eat, our bacteria eats, and it gives off byproducts, and these byproducts send us messages. So what's happening? And that's worth looking at. So now we have, like, for people who struggle with either weight gain or weight loss, and they think they're doing all the right things and nothing's really happening. So now there's these little areas we can look at. What's happening bacteria-wise in your gut? Like, maybe you have certain gut flora that's like helps you retain weight. Maybe you have the opposite that really makes you lose a lot of weight. I don't know, maybe. The next thing we need to look at is how many times a day you're eating. Are you sensitive to insulin spikes? Maybe you are. Maybe you're not. Not everyone is.
And it could be insulin drops.
Yeah.
Okay.
But everyone's different. This is what I've been learning in these last, I would say like a year. Like there's all these other little factors for people who really do struggle with either weight gain or weight loss, and where eating more, eating less, or moving more, moving less isn't gonna cut it. And another one to look at is how your body retains water. So some people who are overweight are just swollen. And it's not body fat, but it's water retention. And there's certain things that people are finding that can lead to a body that retains a lot of water. People who've done a lot of yo-yo dieting, who go in and out of fasting, had severe eating disorders where they were already eating in a disorderly way, like whether they barely ate or they wouldn't really eat or they ate too much. and then like 5 years later they're eating very different, and then they go back to eating a certain type of way. So this is another trigger where it comes to weight. Like, you might have messed something up in your body to the point where your body's retaining water for some type of issue.
Now, is there a certain point where your body's used to functioning and it just, anything outside of that will be too foreign for it?
So that's a theory I've held for a while, and I finally only heard it from another food scientist recently, but it's still not proven. So I have felt that by the time you're like 18, 19, if your body has been a certain way for all those years, it will be very difficult to shift it. It'll be something that's a struggle. That being said, if your body was a certain way for 18 years, let's say you were athletic up until the age of like 18, 19, 20.
Okay.
And then stuff happened, you had kids, you stopped doing your sport, and you gain weight very slowly over like 20 years. And all of a sudden you look back and you're 50 pounds heavier than what you were when you were 20, but now you're 45. I believe those 45-year-olds with a concerted effort can get there within 2 years without too much. I really, really think that for a certain amount of reasons. And I think it's the opposite is also true for people who've been like obese most of their childhood, most of their teen years. I think these are the people that really, when they're 40, like they have a really hard time losing the weight. Their body doesn't know how to do that. Their body has never been there. Like, it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what this feels like, you know? I know what normal feels like, and I want to be at homeostasis. I want to be normal. So apparently, my theory isn't like an island on itself. I finally heard it from somebody else in the nutrition field where they too feel like there's some information coding that your cells know or don't know. And depending on what you've normalized for your body, that's where your body wants to be. If you give it the environment, even 20, 30 years down, it can get there. And not it won't be so hard.
Got me thinking now.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
I mean, well, because I used to dance professionally, and I'm like, oh, you know, flat stomach, this, that. But I was also super, super skinny. So I'm wondering, you know, and actually I went to, I was exercising yesterday, and I was stretching, and I was like, wow, muscle memory. You know, I wonder how far back does it go that it says, oh, I remember when you were able to stretch. And if I was to really stick with it, stretching is one of my things to not do.
Oh, it's terrible.
But it's so important.
It's so important.
It's so important. In fact, that's more important than lifting weights and all that
Talk about
stuff.
like avoiding injury.
Yeah.
That's stretching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I heard, these are anecdotal, and even former President Bill Clinton has said this, but for people who've gone plant-based later in life and they lose weight, this statement of, oh, I got down to my high school weight. I've heard it many times, even from him. He said that too when he went plant-based for his heart. He was like, I went down to my high school weight without trying. That's what Bill Clinton said. Other people who are like 40 and above who got into plant-based real food eating have said similar, like, oh, I got to my high school weight. I tried so hard, I got to my high school weight. Michael Arnstein, the long-distance ultra-marathoner fruitarian, said the same thing. He was like, I got down to my high school weight.
Wow.
And
hopefully your high school weight was a weight that was desirable.
You know, and I think for a certain age group, you know, in 1970, if you're graduating high school, most people weren't overweight. It's different
that would
now.
make sense. Yeah, they didn't have all the... They had fast food, but it was very limited.
And it was different quality. And it was different quality, and they didn't have anything GMO yet in our system.
And they probably closed at like 7 p.m., 6 p.m.
It's different habits. They also played outside.
That's true.
You know, and the kids were sent to do things, and they bike ride a lot more. So it's a whole different setup. Like now, the majority of people graduating high school are overweight. So it's different now. So going back to a high school weight may not be what people are like, wow. But when I hear someone who's like 60 saying it, it's like, okay, so you can kind of assume they were at what most would consider a healthy BMI, a healthy body weight, you know. But it's something that I heard a lot, and it goes back to like this theory I have that if you have a certain type of body for most of your childhood and teen years, chances are that's going to be the place your body wants to go when given the right environment. Even if you just eat cake and cookies and be crazy all the time.
It's always a desire to get back to that place.
The body wants to be there. And the body knows how to be there, and it knows how to feel that. And if we think about just like working out, or people who like who play some type of professional sport, Pele, as a Brazilian soccer player, went into retirement and he stopped playing. And then New York was trying to create a Major League Soccer team. At the time, it was called the Cosmos. Actually, they're back now. The Cosmos are back. But in order to gain popularity, they were like, Pele, please come out of retirement. Please come. And so Pele, in his 40s, came out. And I've seen video. I grew up with a father who's a fan of Pele. Okay, so I've been watching Pele videos for my whole life. Pele, even in his 40s, was like killing it. It didn't matter that he was double the age of most of his teammates and the opposing teammates. Right. And it didn't matter that he had stopped playing professionally for a number of years. It's like when in it, yeah, he's older, so he'll move slower, but he still had it. There were things that were still there. His body kind of like snapped back, not too bad. And I look at myself, because I did a lot of athletic things growing up. And then I had kids, and I basically stopped working out completely for years. And when I put a concerted effort back in the gym, the speed in which the weight I lift increases is incredible for me to see. And I'm like, it's like my body already knows this.
And what were you doing food-wise at that time?
I was still plant-based. Oh, you mean when I was like working out, when I was athletic as a young person?
No. When you...
Now? More so now.
More so now.
Plant-based, high fruit, real food. But I had been eating this way, and then I had gained.
So basically, fruits, vegetables, and nuts. That's
and grains, rice.
Okay.
Cornmeal, things like that. I was eating mostly real food, very little processed sugar. But sometime during this time, before I went back to going to the gym, I was gaining weight. In fact, the reason I went back to the gym is when I was running the homeschool cooperative, somebody came in to take picture and video, and I saw a picture of myself, and I was like, where did these hips come from? I'm like, what happened? I'm like, oh my gosh, let me go back. But it didn't take long. Like, I would think within 6 weeks, it was like
wow.
Everything felt good again. Like,
right.
Like, I know what this stuff is. Like, even the way my arms, I did ballet for 18 years, and my arms were always looked like a ballet dancer's. They're very toned, very lean. And it took within 6 weeks for my arms to kind of like pop, 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 like the way they used to. So, but this is not scientific. I don't know all this for sure, but I do believe part of weight gain or weight loss is what was your body like the first 20 years of your life. It'd probably be easy to get there. So if you were already athletic, you might be able to get there well, just making really good changes. And if it wasn't, you're gonna have to like look at all the other aspects I just talked about. Frequency of eating, water retention, gut biome. Yeah.
Any advice as far as gut biome? Things that you should eat to, a lot of people say yogurt, but again, that's more inflammation because of the whole dairy thing.
Basically, they want the bacteria. You don't have to have dairy yogurt with the bacteria. You can make yogurt out of coconut milk. In fact, at this point, you can buy coconut milk yogurt, the real stuff with the real bacteria in it. But there's also sauerkraut, pickles, kimchi. All these things are made with fermented bacteria.
What about kombucha?
Kombucha, Even coconut water, because it's unadulterated from a coconut. So once you open it...
I think I'm going to get some kombucha today.
I have kombucha pretty regularly.
Oh, really?
The only thing that deters me is the price. It's not even that bad. It's not even that bad right now in New York. It's not even that bad. But I always get the one that has no sugar. There's only one brand that does that.
Okay.
And it still tastes good, even though there's no sugar. And then also apple cider vinegar, the raw one. that has a lot of a good bacteria. But the thing is, a lot of people are super clogged up in their gut. So even if you take in all this like really nice bacteria, does it have room to go anywhere? So sometimes people need a clean out before they even start building up their biome. So whether that's an herbal clean out at home with teas or enemas, or if you do a colonic, or if you fast for like 3 days, 5 days, just drink water or something.
That helps with the...
Well, it can either move it or it just doesn't get more clogged. And then after you don't eat for a few days, then you eat real good, like watermelon full of fiber, or mangoes, like these fresh fruits that's very high in water content and very high in fiber. That then starts really moving the stuff out. So it's possible that you're not cleaned up by doing a fast, but that you're just not adding any more backup. And then while your intestines have rested for 5 days and they didn't have to digest anything, now you give it like super fibrous stuff and it just starts like moving it out. And then we can start concentrating on building up the gut biome with all that good bacteria.
All right, so let's raid my cabinet, raid my fridge. Got something for you, dear. What are you thinking?
What is this? Where'd you get this?
Hot sauce. Should you be using hot sauce?
I mean, like I said, not everything is good or bad. It's on a scale. Hot sauce, for some people, can start ripping up your inside of your intestines and your stomach, but not for everybody.
Okay.
And so that's just like, people know who can handle hot sauce in their stomach or not, because before it gets bad, you'll start to feel like, I don't think I can do this anymore. But the ingredients are fine.
I've heard that for men, spicy food is not the best.
Probably because of the yin, the heat. Because men don't have a cleansing system. Because well, I mean, we all have cleansing systems. We have kidneys and liver, and we have skin, but you don't have periods where like a lot of toxins can be released every month. And so what happens is toxins are very hot. They're very heat. Men will have much more of a heat issue than women. As a lot of men get older, especially if they're white, you can see it in their skin, but the ruddiness, that color, that like rosiness that kind of comes out, that's heat, like that's coming to the surface. So when you put hot sauce on things, you're just increasing that without much of a release. Pure honey. So it's honey, you know. It's not really telling me. I'm just trying to like.
You know, I think that's funny with the everything has non-GMO on it.
And gluten-free.
Or gluten-free. Gluten-free water. Well, there shouldn't be any gluten in your water anyway.
Yeah, it's just honey. I mean, this is my whole thing. Vegans, a lot of vegans don't use honey, right?
Right.
I've decided part of what veganism means for me is like, does it work in society for what we need environmentally and for each other? We do need responsible beekeepers to increase the population of some of these bee colonies. And so I've decided to personally support bee companies that specifically grow the population of their bee colony. But other than that, like, it's fine. It's just honey. All right. So this is cool. Yondu is really cool for people who want to start making their veggies taste better. So there is a push for people to start cooking, but people don't know what to even do. Right. They have no idea what to start, and they don't know how to make things taste good.
Right.
So Yondu is good for that, where it's almost like soy sauce, you know, except it's like way less salt and more other stuff in it, where you can cook veggies in it, and then it'll taste super good. It's mostly organic. Yeah, it's just like good stuff is in it. And it can really make your veggies and your rice taste super good.
Yeah.
And it'll make you eat real food.
I had this with, what was it, it's like oyster mushrooms?
It sounds like it'll be good.
No, it wasn't oyster. It's like lion mushrooms, something like that. Yeah, it's like lion.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know that type of mushroom. Lion, yeah. I think it's called lion mane.
Lion mane, yes.
Yeah.
This is amazing with that. I co-sign on That right
Do
there.
you co-sign on the combination?
On the combination right there, right
The
there.
combination?
The combination.
Yes.
So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Foodcaster. Tell everybody your social media.
You can find me at Sammy Eats Plants on Instagram.
Oops. That's you.
Ah.
Right there.
You can also find me at www.sammyeatsplants.com for a consultation or if you want to make an appointment with me.
Yes, and we're live, and I'm Michael7Michael on Instagram. You can go to The Real Foodcaster on IG. Accept no imitations. Yes, we're talking about real food. Foodcaster, everything about having a relationship with food. Thank you so much for coming today.
My pleasure.
Love your perspective on things, this journey. I'm excited because things are changing. There are a lot more alternatives out there.
Yeah.
So, before we go though, what channels would you go to, or should I say, inspire people to go to learn about new trends with foods or documentaries or information?
For documentaries, there's Hungry for Change, I think is a good one because it's not super plant-based biased. I mean, I'm plant-based, but like I understand. And also, Game Changers is cool. Did you see Game Changers?
I did see that one.
That's cool because one of my things I always said was once athletes start being plant-based, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's it. That is like that threshold. Like,
And Arnold Schwarzenegger is in it.
yes, he's in it.
And I think that's huge.
It
Just
was
because
plant-based.
he's the poster boy
He is
for athletics.
yes.
You know.
And also, like, he's had, like, multiple heart surgeries because of the way he treated his body before because of what he used to do.
Right.
And for him to be, like, late 60s, still pressing weight in that type of way on plants.
It's huge.
But more than anything, just to see how your athletic performance is improved from not having animal products. The Game Changers showed it really well.
Yeah.
And that's a good one to watch. And then just people kind of just living very well without judgment. Johnny Juicer on Instagram, and he has a little bit of a YouTube channel, but mostly on Instagram. But there's a lot. There's a lot at this point. There's like so many I can't really go forward.
But it's very good. Times are changing.
Sweet Potato Soul, that's another one.
Sweet Potato Soul.
Sweet Potato Soul.
That I did not see. I need to check that out.
She's from here too.
Oh, really?
She's from New York. Yeah.
Interesting.
She's been doing it for a long time.
In fact, Game Changers was the last one that I watched actually.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was a really good one.
And then, one last thing about weight is, for most people though, let's just make healthy habits. Because when you feel better and when your body works better, like that's really the ultimate, more so than what you think your body needs to look like. But have healthy habits and be a healthier person. And then what it looks like should be secondary.
Cool. I think that's a very nice note to end on today. You're watching Foodcaster. Hopefully you're watching us on cable. If not, you could be checking us out online. You can go to geekcaster.com for different episodes or sevnetwork.com, or you could be watching us on cable. Either way, check us out, and we'll continue to enjoy this journey, this relationship with food. Thank you, Sam Eats Plants.
You're welcome.
Woo!